Today and tomorrow we'll be looking at special right triangles. Now these are right triangles that follow a certain pattern. So let's start by looking at a right isosceles triangle. Well, if it's a right isosceles triangle, you know that it's a 90-degree angle, the sides are congruent, and so then the base angles should be congruent. But not only do you know the angles are congruent, but you actually know their measure, because if you know one angle is 90, that leaves 90 for the other two, and divide that by 2 is 45 and 45. So it's important to realize that in a right isosceles triangle, that those angles will always be 45 degrees. So if a triangle is right and isosceles, then its angle measures are always 45, 45, and 90. So you can actually hear me refer to this as a 45, 45, 90 triangle, referring to its angles. Now, the 90 side will always be across from the 90, the hypotenuse. The 45 side will be across from the 45, and same with the other one. So the 45 sides will actually be the same, of course. So let's use the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse length. We're going to leave this as a simplified radical. So remember, if it's isosceles, that the sides will be the same. So I want you to pause the video and try to find the lengths of these four hypotenuses. All right, so if we use the Pythagorean theorem here, it's going to be 5 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 25 is 50. Square root it. 50 breaks down to 25 and 2. And of course, 5 and 5 will give you 5 square root 2. When you did this one, you should have seen that it was 3 square root 2. This one you should have seen was 1 square root 2, which is the same thing as square root 2. And if you'd done this one, you should have seen it was x squared plus x squared equals c squared. So 2x squared equals c squared. Now take the square root. Well, you can't take the square root of 2, but we can take the square root of x squared, and that's x. So the answer here is x root 2. Now look at these four and see if you see a pattern when we have 45, 45, 90 triangles. Between the 5, the 5 root 2, 3, 3 root 2, 1, 1 root 2, x, x root 2. What you should have seen is this pattern here. If the side length is x, the legs are x, to get to the hypotenuse, we multiply the leg by the square root of 2. So if I have 6 for the leg, the hypotenuse will be 6 square root 2. A chart that might help you with this that I like to draw is as follows. We're calling this a 45, 45, 90 triangle, and we're going to see what that happens from there. So we're going to look at the chart here and see how we fill it in. Sorry about that interruption here. So we got 45, 45, and the other angle, of course, is 90. The 45 side will be the x, and then we multiply by root 2. So go from 45 to 90, multiply by the square root of 2. So if you're missing the hypotenuse, multiply a leg by square root of 2. If you're missing a leg, divide the hypotenuse by square root of 2. So to go from the 45 to the 90, we multiply by root 2. And to go from the 90 to the 45, we divide by the square root of 2. So let's try this out. 9. What side is that? Well, it's across from the 45, so it's a 45 side. We're looking for the 90, so how do you go from 45 to 90? Times the square root of 2, so a equals 9 root 2. Because 9 times square root of 2 is 9 root 2. Here we're given the 90 side, and we're looking for the 45. So if you think of your chart, 45, 45, 90. Sorry, it's really small. X, x, x root 2. We know the 90 is 2 root 2. How do you go backwards? Well, you solve by the square root of 2. Divide by the square root of 2. They cancel out, and you get 2 for the square for k. Find the value of s. So we're given we know our little chart here. We know the 45 side. We're looking for the 90 side. So 45 is 5 root 2. It's going to be the same here. So if it asks for this, that would also be 5 root 2. And to go from 45 to 90, you multiply by the square root of 2. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. So s equals 10. Pause the video and try this one out. All right, so here we are given our, we got x, x root 2. We know our 90 side, and we're looking for our 45. So the 90 is 6. So to go backwards, we divide by square root of 2, but we can't leave a square root of 2 in the denominator. So we multiply top and bottom. We get 6 root 2 over 2. 6 over 2 is 3. So h is 3 root 2, okay? And same with this side as well. All right, so find the value of a. Pause it real quick and find these. Okay, this is a 45 side. We want the 90, so we multiply by the square root of 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So a equals 2 square root 6. Here we're given the 90, and we want to know the 45. So we divide by the square root of 2. So we got to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2, which gives us 5 root 12 over 2. We simplify 12 down. Let's see, 2, 6, 2, 3. We got a pair of 2's. So the 2 comes out, and 3 stays inside. 10 root 3 over 2, which becomes 5 root 3. So each of these legs is 5 root 3. All right, so make sure you practice the homework with that and find out any questions that you have. So thank you for watching.